my channel, David Plays X89 here, and today we're bringing you a banger. We got the ultimate settings for Warzone for PC. It's going to give you the best FPS, the highest FPS, so you can drop high kill games. If you're interested in dropping high kill games with the highest FPS, the smoothest performance, then this is the video for you. If you want to see how beautiful Caldera is, or you want to walk into Tower House and run into a team of Timmies who are strapped down with Claymore and Bettys, and you're going to teabag your dead corpse, and you want to see the best visual graphics on it, then this is not the video for you. So if you're looking for the best absolute performance, the fastest FPS, the best motion clarity, the lowest render latency, then this is the video for you. We got a bunch of tips and tricks that's going to help your game perform at its peak. And what I would like you guys to do is to please comment after you watch the video, put your results on how much FPS increase that you got from my tips and tricks. And since we're a small channel, every comment, every like, every subscription helps, so please drop a follow, subscribe to our channel, and hit that noti bell, and we'll bring you more content. So we're going to get into step 1 on what you need to do. So thank you guys, and let's roll step 1. Okay, so step 1 is you're going to need the latest Nvidia drivers. So this is going to be for Nvidia boys only. So AMD boys, update to your latest drivers. So if you're on Nvidia, you can do it here off the Nvidia website, or you can use GeForce Experience, or the optional method is the best method, is to create a custom driver. That's what I use, so I get a bit better performance that way. So there's a lot of videos out there that already show you how to do it. I'll link one into the description of the video. So you can do it this way. If you're not really good with PCs, just it's easy this way. If you want to do your custom driver, get your custom driver ready, install it, and then we'll go on to step 2. So step 2, once you have your stock driver or custom driver installed, it's time for Nvidia control panel. So once you get into Nvidia control panel, go to adjust image settings with preview. So you're going to want to put this all the way to performance, then put this in the middle. Then you're going to do manage 3D settings. So you're going to do this exactly the way I do. Image scaling, okay. Image scaling on at 30%. So the sharpening should be at 30%. This is very important for this method. You're going to have ambient occlusions off, anisotropic filtering off, anti-aliasing FXAA off, anti-aliasing gamma correction on, anti-aliasing mode off. I said it wrong. Anti-aliasing mode. I can't even talk. So these two will be blanked out. So background application max frame rate off, CUDA cores all, and make sure your graphics card is selected. So DSR factors off. So then you got DSR smoothness off, low latency mode on, max frame rate off. We're going to be using something else to use for max frame rate. That's going to be optional though. But monitor technology, I know I have a G-Sync monitor, but for esports games, I'm not going to use G-Sync. So for a game like Warzone, Apex, no G-Sync. Multi-frame sample AA, MFAA off. OpenGL rendering, you could just put your graphics card in there. Power management mode, normal. So this is my monitor. I'm using the highest refresh rate, so highest refresh rate available, that's what we want. Shader cache size, 10 gigabytes. If this depends on your C drive. If your C drive has some space, use 10. If not, just use driver default. But 10 works great for me. So we got we got texture filtering, anisotropic, sample. Can't see the rest of it, but have that on. Texture filtering, negative, LOD bias, allowed. So texture filtering quality, you want this on high performance. Then you want texture filtering, trillionaire, I can't even pronounce that, optimizations on. Threaded optimizations auto. Triple buffering off. Vertical VSync, oh I can't talk today, off on everything. Do not use vertical sync, not vertical G-sync. Virtual reality pre-rendered frames 1. Virtual reality variable rate super sampling, I believe, always on. So you're gonna want to apply the changes to that. Already done it. So resolution, I'm using 1440p. I have 240 hertz monitor, so that's going to be under change resolution. Make sure you're using that. You can use Nvidia color settings, that's preference. And what I usually do here under adjust desktop color settings is have digital vibrance at 75. I know some laptops don't have this option here, but I do use digital vibrance. I don't know if it's just desktops only that get this or certain cards, but digital vibrance from 70 to 80, I think it's good. So if you have anything here, I mean, you want to use landscape there. G-Sync, we're not going to set up G-Sync, so I'm showing you guys that. We're not using G-Sync. G-Sync would be more for titles like Cyberpunk, like Elden Rings, like God of War, like Spider-Man, games that you want to use the best fidelity, and you want the highest graphics and the best, sharpest looking game. For esport titles, you want performance. You want the most frames. The fastest, smoothest gameplay. Unless you want to get teabagged by a team of 4 Timmys and Powerhouse. So there's a reason why we're doing all of it this way. So step 3 should be overclocking. If you're experienced with overclocking computer hardware, then follow the steps or have someone do it for you. But if you're not knowledgeable in this, then just skip this entirely. So if you do want to overclock your graphics card, I'm using MSI Afterburner. It comes with River Tuner Statistic Server, which we'll get to in a bit, so move this aside. So I'm using an RTX 3080, and it is water cooled, so I can push this a little further than the average 3080. So depending on what your graphics card is, whether it's a 3060, 3070, 3050, the settings will be a bit different, so I'll post what works for me. So I have core clock at plus 121, memory clock at plus 1037. Since I don't have fans, because it's a water-cooled GPU, I would put your fan speed to max, power limit 121, and temp limit 91. So I would save that to slot 1. I would go into options, and I have for startup Windows. These are the settings that I'm using. It's pretty basic stuff. So over here you have River Tuner, and we're using this for the best motion clarity and the lowest latency possible. And by achieving that, we're going to add the Warzone executable to this. We're going to go to Add, and we're going to go to Modern Warfare Launcher.exe, and we're going to cap the frame rate at 220, capping it at 220. And I don't personally like the on-screen display for this that'll show basically your FPS. I use the one in the game or the one from GeForce Experience. But basically this is going to give you the best motion clarity and a lower latency. If you don't like using it, you can skip. I have a 240 Hz monitor, which I'm capping it on this game because I'm selecting it here. Just this game is going to be capped to 220. If you have 165, you could drop it down 20 points. You could try it out this way. It may vary per hardware, but this is the way I do it. It works well for me. And you guys can give me a shot. Please let me know in the comments. If you guys like using the combination of MSI Afterburner and River Tuner. So let's go on to the next step. Okay, so we're going to launch Warzone. We're going to go into options. We're going to graphics. We're going to start with display. Since I use OBS and I have a one monitor setup, I'm using full screen borders. You can use full screen if you want. So this is display monitor. It shows my monitor, the ROG PG279QM. See what monitor I have. Display adapter should be my graphics card, the GeForce RTX 3080. For screen refresh rate, since I have a 240 Hz monitor, it's locked at 240. For display resolution, I have 2176 by 1224. Since I'm not using 1440p because I'm using NIS, and we drop our resolution a step down. So if your resolution is 1440p, you're gonna go down by one. And dynamic resolution is disabled. Dynamic resolution frame rate target doesn't matter because it's disabled. Aspect ratio is automatic. You definitely do not want sync every frame VSync. You definitely don't want this. Put it on if you want to be capped at 60 Hz and you want to walk into Tower House and have like 4 Timmys bust you up with ride shields and Semtex. So this is basically, if you want that, put this enabled. Custom frame rate we have unlimited because we have it capped with Riva Tuner. Brightness is preference at 55, between 50 and 60 you're good. Display gamma, 2.2 sRGB, that's for a monitor. If you have BT 1886, that's for TV. Nvidia highlights we have disabled. I like Nvidia Reflex low latency disabled. Some people have it unenabled or enabled plus boost. I think the game runs smoother without it. So we're going to hit apply. I'm going to go into quality. Let's go to discard. So back to quality. Field of view is preference. I like 120 and I go with affected. Render resolution, you go between 70 and 80. This is the most important settings. You're going to get the lowest render latency and the best motion clarity, but you're going to have a not as good as image. So that's why we're using the image sharpening, and we're going low on the render resolution. Everyone will tell you to go between 1 and 120. You're going to have a lot less FPS and a lot worse motion clarity. So this setting is the most important, and no one else is going to mention this to you. They're going to tell you go over 100. Don't listen to them. Streaming quality, I have it on low. You could do normal. It's up to you, low or normal. Texture resolution, very low or low. I like the most FPS, and I go for high kill gains, so very low. Filter texture anisotropic, low. Particle quality low. Bullets and impacts and sprays, that is preference. I have it on enabled. Test solutions, disabled. Dismemberment and gore effects, enabled because I like to see blood. On-demand textures, do not enable this, whatever you do. On PC, console, never enable this. Filmatic strength 0, film grade 0. Nvidia DLSS, since I'm not using that route, I'm disabling it. I'm going with anti-aliasing, and I'm using the SMAA T2X. Depth of field disabled. Motion blur definitely disabled. Weapon motion blur definitely disabled. Shadow map resolution low. Cache spot shadows enabled. Cache sun shadows enabled. Particle lightning low. DirectX ray tracing definitely no. If you're playing a game that's very immersive, a single player immersive gaming, like God of War or what do you call them, Spider-Man, or any of the newest titles that you want the best visual quality, that's something you want enabled for esports, FPS games. You definitely want this disabled. Ambient inclusion disabled. Screen space reflection disabled. So that's basically it for settings. So we basically want to get our Nvidia Reflex Analyzer up, and it's going to show us the changes you made. So before you apply these settings, see what you're getting before, and then we're going to run a game and see how low our render latency is and how high our FPS is. So lower render latency is better, higher FPS is better. So that would conclude our test. If you did, every single step, you were able to do them, you're gonna have the best results. So let's drop into a game. So we're gonna drop into Rebirth Resurgent Quads, and we're gonna test our results. And if you followed all 4 steps correctly, you're gonna get the absolute best results, which you can see on our Nvidia reflex analyzer. We're gonna have a low render latency, we're gonna have high FPS, and that's gonna give you more high kill gains. You're not gonna find it in any other guide. So we took the best tips and tricks from basically every guide there is and every tip site there is, and we basically made the best one possible. So let's pick a loadout. We're going to drop in, and we're going to show you our FPS and render latency. I'm going to try to get to control, and that we have the best possible motion clarity. As you can see, I'm slide canceling. My movement looks pretty good. Nobody in control though, but so thank you guys for watching. Please post your results into the comments. Let me know how this worked for you guys, and please follow back, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Watch the skies.
And we have more videos coming soon. So thank you guys.